Hello everyone. In this lecture I am gonna explain line by line the famous essay, of Love, by Francis Bacon, but before I start this lecture, if you are new to my channel then please like and subscribe the channel. Let's start it. The stage is more beholding to love, than the life of man. This is the first line and it means that theater or stage gives more importance to love than real life. You can say love plays a greater role in stories and dramas than it does in real human experiences. For as to the stage, love is ever matter of comedies, and now and then of tragedies. It means in plays, love is often the central theme of comedies and occasionally appears in tragedies. But in life it doth much mischief, sometimes like a siren, sometimes like a fury. It means that in real life, love causes harm and trouble. Actually, Bacon says that it can act like a siren. And the word siren means that luring people with charm and beauty into danger, or like a fury, which means unleashing chaos and destruction. Simply, it attracts people like siren or fury to destruction. You may observe, that amongst all the great and worthy persons, whereof the memory remaineth, either ancient or recent, there is not one, that hath been transported to the mad degree of love. It means that when we look at the lives of historically significant and admirable people, from both ancient and recent times, none of them were so consumed by love that they lost control. Simply, Bacon says that great people in the history were never controlled by love. Which shows that great spirits, and great business, do keep out this weak passion. It means that this shows that people with strong minds or those focused on important responsibilities are less likely to be overpowered by love, which is seen as a weak emotion. You must accept, nevertheless, Marcus Antonius, the half-partner of the Empire of Rome, and Appius Claudius, the decemvir and lawgiver. In this line Bacon tries to shift our thought to an exception and says, however, there are exceptions to this rule, such as Marcus Antonius, who shared control of the Roman Empire, and Appius Claudius, a Roman lawmaker, whereof the former was indeed a voluptuous man, and inordinate, but the latter was an austere and wise man. It means that Mark Antony was indulgent and lacked self-control, so his susceptibility to love is understandable. But Appius Claudius, on the other hand, was strict and wise, which makes his vulnerability to love surprising. Simply, here Bacon accepts that there are exceptions to it, but most well-known figures were not controlled by love. And then says, and therefore it seems, though rarely, that love can find entrance, not only into an open heart, but also into a heart well fortified, if watch be not well kept. It means that such incidents suggest that love can affect both emotional and disciplined individuals if they are not vigilant. Simply, you have to be active and wise to avoid the control of this passion. It is a poor saying of Epicurus, satis magnum alter alteri theatrum summus. In this line Bacon criticizes the quote from Epicurus, which means, we are each other's grand spectacle. The idea implies that people live primarily to observe and be observed by others, treating life as a stage where we seek to impress or be entertained by one another. As if man, made for the contemplation of heaven, and all noble objects, should do nothing but kneel before a little idol, and make himself a subject, though not of the mouth, as beasts are, yet of the eye. It means that humans created for higher purposes such as contemplating heaven and noble ideas, and they are not born to degrade themselves by obsessing over physical beauty. And then says unlike animals, who are ruled by their hunger, and humans are controlled by their attraction, which was given him for higher purposes. It means that our ability to see was meant for greater goals, not just for focusing on superficial beauty. Simply, you can say that outsight is not for focusing on human beauty but for something high purpose. It is a strange thing, to note the excess of this passion, and how it braves the nature and value of things. It means that love causes people to act in exaggerated ways, seeing the world not as it is but through the intense and often distorted lens of their emotions. This passion disrupts logic and reason, leading individuals to lose a sense of balance or proportion in their judgment. By this, that the speaking in a perpetual hyperbole, is comely in nothing but in love. It means when people speak in love, they often use extreme exaggerations, such as claiming their beloved is the most perfect or extraordinary person. While such language might seem ridiculous in other situations, it is considered natural and even charming in the context of love, neither is it merely in the phrase, for whereas it hath been well said, that the arch-flatterer, with whom all the petty flatterers have intelligence, is a man's self, certainly the lover is more. It means that people often flatter themselves more than anyone else, but lovers flatter the person they love even more than they flatter themselves. This shows how love exaggerates admiration to an even greater degree. For there was never proud man thought so absurdly well of himself, as the lover doth of the person loved. It means lovers tend to place their beloved on an unrealistic pedestal, thinking of them as flawless or perfect, often ignoring reality. This level of admiration surpasses even the exaggerated self-esteem of the most arrogant individuals. And therefore it was well said, that it is impossible to love, and to be wise. Now in this line Bacon says that it is well said it is impossible to love and be wise. It means if you are wise you cannot love. Simply, this highlights how love and wisdom cannot coexist. Love clouds judgment and makes people act irrationally. Neither doth this weakness appear to others only, and not to the party loved, but to the loved most of all, except the love be reciproc. It means that the foolishness of a lover's actions is noticeable to everyone, especially to the person being loved. However, this embarrassment is less evident if the love is reciprocal. For it is a true rule, that love is ever rewarded, either with the reciproc, or with an inward and secret contempt. In this line Bacon is suggesting that love, when it is not reciprocated, often results in the person being loved feeling rejected or even secretly disrespected. There are two possible outcomes: either the love is returned, which is the ideal, or the person being loved does not return the feeling and instead looks at the lover with hidden contempt. By how much the more, men ought to beware of this passion, which lusteth not only other things, but itself. It means that this is why people should be cautious of love, as it not only causes other losses, like time, wealth, or focus, but can even destroy itself through overindulgence. Simply, he says that one should be aware of it, otherwise it destroys everything of the person. As for the other losses, the poet's relation doth well figure them, that he that preferred Helena, quitted the gifts of Juno and Pallas. In this passage Bacon refers to the mythological story of Paris, who chose to pursue love with Helen, even though it caused him to lose the favor and blessings of powerful goddesses like Juno and Pallas. This highlights how love, especially when it leads to a difficult or destructive choice, often comes with sacrifices and losses that are not immediately apparent. For whosoever esteemeth too much of amorous affection, quitteth both riches and wisdom. Now Bacon says that those who prioritize romantic love above all else tend to lose both their wealth and their sense of wisdom. This passion hath his floods, in very times of weakness, which are great prosperity, and great adversity, though this latter hath been less observed. Now in this line Bacon is saying that love tends to become stronger during periods of emotional or situational weakness. When people are highly successful or going through tough times, love can become an overwhelming or distracting force. Both which times kindle love, and make it more fervent, and therefore show it to be the child of folly. It means that love becomes stronger and more intense during both good and bad times, but this intensification also reveals love as a form of folly. The more love grows, the more it can lead to irrational decisions and actions, which he describes as foolish. Essentially, love is portrayed as something that, in its extremes, often lacks reason or logic and leads people to act in ways that might not align with their best interests. They do best, who if they cannot but admit love, yet make it keep quarters, and sever it wholly from their serious affairs, and actions, of life. Now Bacon says that the wisest people, if they cannot avoid love, compartmentalize it and separate it from their important duties and responsibilities. He suggests that it may be impossible to avoid love entirely. The wise course of action is to manage it carefully. Love should not take over a person's life or distract them from their goals and duties. Instead, it should be kept in balance and kept apart from their important work and responsibilities, allowing them to remain focused and efficient in their actions. For if it check once with business, it troubleth men's fortunes, and mocketh men, that they can no ways be true to their own ends. It means when love interferes with work or practical matters, it disrupts progress and prevents people from achieving their goals. I know not how, but martial men are given to love. I think it is but as they are given to wine, for perils commonly ask to be paid in pleasures. It means that soldiers and warriors often have a strong inclination toward love, similar to their inclination toward drinking wine. This is likely because people who face danger frequently seek comfort in pleasurable escapes. Actually, by this way Bacon is comparing soldiers' inclination toward love with their fondness for wine is meant to show how people seek balance in their lives. Just as wine provides soldiers with comfort and relief after the hardships of battle, love serves a similar purpose. There is in man's nature a secret inclination and motion towards love of others. It means that human beings naturally have a deep-rooted tendency to feel affection or connection toward others, which if it be not spent upon some one or a few, doth naturally spread itself towards many, and mocketh men become humane and charitable, as it is seen sometime in friars. It means that if this love isn't directed toward a specific person or small group, it often extends to a broader group of people, leading to acts of kindness and generosity. And this is why friars, who don't form romantic relationships, often channel their love into serving humanity. Nuptial love mocketh mankind. It means that romantic or marital love leads to procreation and the continuation of humanity. Friendly love perfecteth it. It means friendship and platonic love bring out the best in people, helping to develop and refine human character. But wanton love corrupteth, and embasseth it. It means that lustful or uncontrolled love degrades and diminishes the dignity of both individuals and society. Actually, in conclusion Bacon highlights the various forms of love and their effects on human nature and society, emphasizing the positive impact of directed or noble love and the destructive nature of uncontrolled passion. I hope you have enjoyed this lecture, but please don't forget like and subscription to my channel. Thank you.